Hello, people and other animals, alien races, and different things out there. Plants, rocks, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Spirits. This is Matt Master here, and we are going into the second video of Yugi-Tutor. This is Getting Started Part 1. I hope you guys follow along with me in the rulebook, because this is going to be fun. What are we going to cover today? We're going to be covering things you need to duel. This is the first part of Getting Started, the Getting Started section, and these will be page 2 to 3 in the handbook. So please, everybody, open up your handbooks to pages 2 and 3. Today we'll be going over the main deck, side deck, and extra deck, as well as a few other items that you can use and are helpful to use in a duel. We're going to start off with the main deck. It consists of 40 to 60 cards. Before, there used to be no restriction of how many cards you would need, but then someone took like I believe it was like a couple thousand card deck, and it just took too long to shuffle. I think they were disqualified because of it, or asked to simplify it, or whatever needed to be, whatever they needed to do. That 40 to 60 cards are what you are allowed to do, or what you're allowed to have in a deck. The closer you are to 40, the better you are. Mostly because you can draw into your cards better. That also goes into player preference and depending on the deck you are running. But from testing from a lot of people everywhere in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, the closer you are to 40, the better you are. Faster decks, like I said, can use up to 45. Could use up to 45 cards easily, sometimes even up to 50 depending on the deck. Slower decks can be less consistent the more cards you have in there. Again, closer to 40 the better. In the deck, you're allowed 3 copies of each individual card between the main and side deck. Side deck we'll be getting to later. So if I want to have 3, say, Cyber Dragons, I can have 3 Cyber Dragons. I cannot have 4 Cyber Dragons, 4 actual Cyber Dragon cards in between my main and side deck. I can have 3 in between my main and side deck of that one individual card. If another card says it is also treated as Cyber Dragon, it does not count as the actual Cyber Dragon card. That is just an example. Card numbers vary depending on ban lists. Ban list is on page 45, and you can also look on the Yu-Gi-Oh website. Sometimes they will limit cards to you're only allowed to use 1, sometimes 2, and sometimes not at all. We'll be going over the ban list in a later video. But for right now, we're going to be going over this as if we're allowed all 3 copies of a card. Extra deck. Extra deck consists of 0 to 15 cards. You do not need an extra deck to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Extra decks are cards like Xyzs, Fusions, and Synchros that aren't allowed in the main deck. These cards are used at situational times through either summoning through Xyz summoning for Xyz monsters, Synchro summoning through Synchro monsters, and Fusion summoning through Fusion monsters, depending on cards. We'll be going over these summoning styles later on when we get the game cards, as well as ignoring summoning conditions. As like I said, and also destroy pendulum monsters. If a pendulum monster or pendulum card is in your monster zone or in your pendulum zones, and are destroyed, you actually played and destroyed, they will go to your extra deck face up. These monsters can be summoned through pendulum summoning, which will be going through later in game cards. Again, you're only allowed 3 copies of each individual card between your extra and side deck. If I want to run 3 Cyber and Dragons, I can in my extra and side deck, but I'm not allowed to have 3 in my extra and 1 in my side. Just for an example. As well, depends on the ban list, but you can look on the Yu-Gi-Oh website or on page 45 of the handbook. The page 45 of the handbook just explains what the ban list is. To actually play, you need to follow the ban list. Ban list is always updated every so months, a couple of months. There should be a new one up soon, if not already up by the time this video is there. And that are the rules, besides the rules in the book, that were predicated by. Sorry guys, I had a little bit of gas. And finally, you can always look at your cards in your extra deck. You can't look through your main deck unless you are searching or other card effects, but extra deck you can always pick up at any time to look through. And again, monsters can only be summoned through summoning conditions are met, or other effects, which will be a later video. Side deck. Your side deck consists of 0 to 15 cards. Again, you do not need this to play Yu-Gi-Oh! It is made of extra cards from your main and extra deck. Most people don't usually put extra deck cards in it, but it's still handy to have. These are your situational cards for specific matchups. If you know your deck isn't good against one thing, then you can switch out cards in your main deck or extra deck for cards in your side deck. For every one card you move out of your side, you must move one in from the appropriate deck. If I want to move one card from my extra deck into my main deck, I have to take a card out from my main deck into my extra deck, and vice versa with the extra deck as well. So, for every card you take out of your main or extra, you have to put the same number of cards in from your side deck in the respective decks until all your decks equal to the same amount of the same card number that they were before you moved cards around. So if you're playing 40, 15, 15, it has to be 40, 15, 15 after you side. Other items you will need: a coin if you have any cards that you want to sorry guys, just stuff in my throat. If you have any cards that need a coin, then definitely gonna need a coin. 6-sided die. All die mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are 6-sided. It also allows you to help to choose who goes first, unless you want to do rock, paper, scissors. It's just another way to do that. But again, all die mechanics are 6-sided. Counters. If you need a card that needs a counter, you can use any small consistent object, like if you want to use pennies or dimes, something like that. As long as they're all the same, that you can distinguish individually, that's fine. As well as tokens. Tokens are any small object that are consistent. Like if you want to use extra sleeves, as long as they're all the same, that's fine. If you want to use actual monster tokens, that's fine. Again, pennies, dimes, whatever you want to use. You can use a dice, but I recommend not using dice because things can get a bit confusing. A calculator to track your life points. If you don't have a calculator, a pen and paper will be fine. Sleeves to protect your cards, and defects will be considered cheating. If you have a defect in your sleeve that is noticeable and you're at a major event, your opponent can call judge on you, and you could be considered cheating then. If it's just a simple thing, it's fine, but if it's a noticeable defect, you could get a game or round loss, depending. And that's it, guys. Sorry I hit the black screen, but just gonna leave it up with this. That was it. I hope that you guys liked this video. This is the beginning of, technically the second video, but the beginning of the beginnings of the rules. If you want me to clarify on a few other things, I will go back through it. Again, this is page 2 to 3 in the handbook. Please like, comment, subscribe for more videos, and I hope to see you guys here next time. Remember, guys, peace out, keep dueling.